£39 for 3 Forge World Acanthrites? I don't think so. Let's see if we can convert some. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time to have a look at how I'm getting on with my Acanthrite conversions. So I got all of these wraiths off of eBay, really cheap. I had 3 left over, and I thought I'd have a go at converting 3 of them up into the Forge World Acanthrite models. Thought it'd be a bit of fun, and a unit that I've obviously never played before. So the first step for me was to get some imagery of the models that I was going to convert them into. So let me just show you that. I'm just going to zoom out a bit and get a bit organised here. Right, okay, so these are the models which I'm going to convert them up into. Looking at them, they look quite similar to a wraith. In actual fact, to be totally honest, they look as if Forge World have kit bashed a wraith and a spider together and come up with this model, because to me that's what they look like. But that's good because it makes the conversion fairly easy. So obviously the key thing is that they are floating rather than walking on the base. Well, not walking, but hovering, whatever they're doing over there. Yeah, I needed to get them in the air. So my initial thought was that I would get the body of this wraith and I would bend it over to the side, so that enabled me to get some flying base on the middle section and have it sort of floating rather than actually on the ground. So that was my initial idea for it. And then looking at it as well, and the other key thing which obviously the old wraith doesn't have is a gun. So I had a look in my bits box for any guns that I had, any other accessories, and I got to work on building them. So I have done some work. I'm about, I would say, 50% done. So let me bring one in and show you how far I've got. So like I said, I bent the body around. Now in doing so, because obviously it's metal, it did, well, it already had a join in, so those joins obviously immediately came off. And then I found the tail broke off at the bottom as well as I was bending it, but that was fine. So what I did is I pinned both of the joins that broke back. I did attempt to bend this section here, the main body section, but it's very thick. And it didn't bend very easily at all. So I decided just to leave that as it was and just bend this bottom tail. Now, as you can see, I've got this big claw on its tail. I used these wraiths rather than the ones with the wired bottoms because I thought that just looked better. Now these claws here I got off a very generous guy of Facebook, John. Thank you very much, John, for your donations. He gave me 3 of those, which was absolutely perfect because I've obviously got 3 of these wraiths that I'm converting up. So I put that on the tail, and that is effectively going to be the little claws that you can see on the ends of their tails. So that was that bit done. Then it went to this top section. I found this torso, which I believe is I think it's a Praetorian torso. I had some of those in my bits box. I found these guns in my bits box, and I cobbled them together, glued them together. I've got the gun handle going through this like hood as such. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. It allows me to, I was going to paint that green, just that little end piece. And as you can see, I've cut his head off, and also I've cut off these spiky bits that were on the top. Had to file all that down, making it all really flat, enabling me to get this body on the top. Now I've still got some green stuff work to do here, just filling in the gaps, etc. Now on the original model, let me just bring this one in. This is a slightly different picture. but on the original model you can see that he's got these, I think they're described as stabilizers. There's 4 of them. Now the good thing about this body is it has this thing at the back poking up, and I'm going to call that my stabilizer. Now I know I haven't got 4 of them. I did look in my bits box if I can find it. I did find these, which are little arms. Now I have 3 of these. Now they potentially could make quite good stabilizers. Apologies for the hand in the way, got a new camera angle. I could potentially use those, but A, I only have 3, B, I'm not sure I'd like it, and C, it's going to be impossible to get hold of these because these are Necron Destroyer arms and they are not going to be around in any great quantity. So I've decided just to use this section here as my stabilizer. I think it works quite well. So that is my current state. I have done a little bit more work, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but I just want to have a quick chat about what I'm going to do with the head. Not only the head actually, but these side sections here. So again, going back to the model, the piece of paper, we've got these claws coming down, and as you can see we've got this, I think this is actually a tomb spider head here. Now I had a look around, I tried absolutely everywhere to try and work out how I was going to get these claws. I could get them from a tomb spider, Canoptek spider. But they're very difficult to get, quite expensive, it's like £1.50 a claw. There's 6 on each models. But what I did find, which I thought was absolutely perfect, was I found some spare parts from a bits store in America, which is why I'm waiting for it to arrive. It's going to be about a couple of weeks, I think, to arrive. But it was the tomb spider bits from the Tesseract Vault, which is the tomb spider head and some little claws. Now they are smaller than these, but I think they're going to work quite well, so I'm waiting for them to come. Now once they come, I'm going to put a green stuff neck on here. Now I do have in my bits box one of these, which is roughly like the actual head that I'm going to be getting, except it doesn't have like the claws coming down the bottom. If you can imagine, that is going to be there, with obviously a green stuff sort of neck, so it'll be sticking out slightly. But that should look pretty cool, and it should match in with the imagery that I've got on there quite nicely. So I'm really happy with that. Now, the main issue that I have with these models at the moment is they're pretty skinny, especially if you compare them to the imagery that I have here, where they are definitely a lot fatter. My first thought is it doesn't really matter because I'm using old school wraiths, which are obviously a lot skinnier than the current wraiths, so arguably these can be old school Acanthrites, so I can have them skinnier. Having said that, I do have these shoulder pieces here left over. So I've been experimenting, and this potentially is where I might need some feedback from you guys. So this is one of the shoulder pads. Now, I didn't want to, first of all, I had a look at putting this actual shoulder pad on there, but I just felt like it looked too much like a wraith. So I took one of those shoulder pads and I've cut off the side section, as you can see just there. So I've cut that off. Now I haven't cleaned that up, it still needs filing down, but it gives me quite a nice little section, and I was thinking of actually putting this section down the back area here like that, and I thought that would beef up the model slightly, but without making it look too much like a wraith. So that is my idea, but before I actually go ahead and start gluing like green stuffing anything on, I want to get the other bits, and I'm going to work out how the other claws are going to look here. I'm going to have to fill in the gaps and the holes and stuff. I want to see how the head looks. So I'm going to get the head on and the claws on, and then I'm going to go back to these shoulder things and see how they look. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think that works? Do you think that's a good idea? Okay, so you've just seen one of these at the moment. As I said, I've got 3, so let's bring in the other ones. So I've got this one. I bent the tail right the way around the other way. There. It's going pretty cool. And then the last one, again, I bent the tail right the way round. I've got the blade on his tower angled in a slightly different way, and once they are on one of these flying bases, which I'm going to magnetise them on. Now the reason why I haven't put them on the flying base yet is I want to finish all of the conversions so that I can find the centre point for balance. So I don't want to magnetise it like here and then it's like really back heavy or anything. So once I've finished all of the conversions, I'll find the centre point, and whatever that centre point is, that's where I'm going to put the magnet. But I think you can start to see, imagine that there floating around with a little magnet. I think it's going to look pretty cool. So I'm really happy. I think what I've got is somewhat close to these, yeah, I've been really happy with them. It's taken a lot of work, to be fair, but I've enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get those extra bits in and continue working on them. As I said, at the moment I've come to a bit of a halt, just waiting for those little bits to come. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of my conversion so far. As I said, there's still quite a lot of work to do, but any feedback and input is always welcome. Thanks for watching.